Okay, a little context before I talk about Melissa. Melissa's in Hawaii. Melissa, it's like 5 a.m., is it?
Actually, I'm in Phoenix, change of plans. So
Okay. All
7.
right. So it's still early, but not as early. Melissa has been on our podcast. I've been on her podcast. Her podcast, this is a writer downer, is E3 Podcast. It's on iTunes. E3 Podcast. Great podcast, empowering women. Highlights a lot of cool things inside and outside of real estate. A little background here, and then I want to I got a question. I'm sure these guys would. Melissa's been flipping houses since '03. You guys know on my podcast, I'm very cognizant of bringing you people that are experienced. She flipped 1,000 houses, built a portfolio of real estate properties, and brought up 5 kids while doing that. Kind of a lot going on. Talk about busy. Active member of Forbes Real Estate Council along with us and National Association of Women Business Owners. So, Melissa, we could probably talk for an hour, but I told you 5 minutes I'd keep you. I'd love you to just talk to these guys. There's a bunch of people that are new. And there's a bunch of experienced people. Any words of wisdom for first the new people here that we all allow things to get in the way, right? And excuses to not step forward. Laurel did a great job on that. Any thoughts for them? And then I'm sure either Cammie or Lauren might have a question for you too.
Sure. So can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Coming in great.
Okay, good. Wi-Fi is a little spotty here. So I think, the biggest thing when you're getting started that I like to encourage people and tell people is to find a mentor, find somebody that you can connect with. And this is really important because there's a lot of pieces to this finding a mentor thing. Because a lot of times people are like, well, how do I find the right person? You really want to look for somebody that is a mutually beneficial relationship. So like my first mentor, I'm a huge believer in mentors. I still subscribe to mentors and do coaching for myself too. So I know there's a lot of power in that. So when I first got a mentor, it was a really great relationship because he was a mentor. He was also a private money lender. And he was on the same path that I wanted to be on. So find somebody that, one, that you feel like you connect with, because I think that's really important. 2, find somebody that's doing the things that you want to do in your business. So if you want to do a lot of subject twos, or if you want to be a wholesaler, if you want to be a flipper, find somebody who's doing those things, who's been doing it for a while, that has it really dialed in, and learn from those people. So you want to make sure that you're learning from people who are actually actively engaged in what you want to do. They've built that business already. And then, so aside from finding a mentor, I think the other big thing is just working on your mindset. And I'm sure you guys have probably covered this quite a bit already, but having been in this business for 18 years now, I can tell you that your mindset is so important because so many things are going to happen to you along the way. We're going to get kicked, a lot. Things, it's not easy. This is not an easy business. This isn't a get rich quick overnight kind of thing. It's not. This is like, I've been at this for 18 years. It's a long process, and you learn a lot along the way, and you've got to be mentally tough, and you've got to be resilient. You've got to be able to take no's. You've got to be able to deal with situations that come up in your business. You've got to learn how to be a leader. And all of those things come from having the right mindset. So make sure that you are cultivating the right mindset, that you're surrounding yourself with the right people, that you're educating yourself and taking action. Don't just spend your time and that's my third tip for you is get educated, but don't spend so much time in that space to where you're not taking action. And that's what I see a lot in clients that I coach is there's a gap between the education and the implementation part of things. So it's important to get that knowledge, but it's also important to take action because that's where the real learning is going to happen. Is from your mistakes. That's where the growth happens. And I'm sure you guys have heard this a million times, but it is so true. I can't tell you how true that really is. I can't tell you, like, I still learn things even after all these years of doing this. I'm still constantly learning. Things are changing all the time, and you've got to be able to pivot and roll with it. And so I think those are like the 3 biggest takeaways I can give you is find a mentor, make sure your mindset is good, and just take action.
Awesome. Melissa, do you guys have just for a couple minutes, one thought that came to mind that you want to have Melissa talk about? We have a couple minutes.
Well, I was just going to say, I love that you said this isn't a get quick rich scheme, and that this takes time. You've been doing this for 18 years. And I mean, Chris has been in the industry for 30-ish.
30 this month.
So I think that so many people look at this as, you know, I'm just going to start buying rentals and doing multifamilies, and, you know, I'm just going to have all this cash flow. And, you know, they don't think about the challenges that come with that, but, you know, with whatever there is, vacancies or, you know, whatever, fires or whatever. But I love that you said that, because people need to hear that and be reminded of that. This is hard. This is not easy.
It's not what it looks like on TV.
This isn't. This is not HGTV flip or whatever.
As much as I love those shows.
Yeah. So I'm so glad that you said that, and that people should really, you know, consider that and take that to heart, that this is going to take time.
Yeah, and I loved that you just finished what you were saying about the implementation, because we coach students too, and we see that it's like analysis paralysis. They get stuck in this, you know, this fear stage of, well, I just need to make sure that this CRM is perfect, you know, but if you don't have any leads coming in, what good is your CRM? You know what I mean? So I think it's awesome that you said that. And I think it's super, super important that everybody hears that. Imperfect action is better than no action at all.
Awesome. And execution trumps knowledge, right? You guys, that's all we do in the trenches with you. Melissa, I don't want to take more than we said of your time. I really appreciate it. You're awesome. The episode that Melissa was on our show airs today on our podcast, episode number 3,000. I wish we were that big. 304. Melissa, thank you. Travel safe, and thanks for sharing everything with us. Appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bet.